Welcome back to another episode of T-Shirt Cooking. For today's episode, we will break the rules. We will be making a gluten-free baking recipe. And I know this is T-Shirt Cooking and we've been baking as of late, but that's just the way it is. And if you don't like it, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, and let's get straight to the recipe. For the ingredients, we have egg yolk, we have baking powder, sugar, cornstarch. We have 400 grams of regular unflavored yogurt. It's important, not the vanilla, not anything like that. Unflavored. We have some vanilla extract. Now we're using the artificial stuff because the real stuff is just too expensive. We have salt. We have not the egg yolk, what's the other one called? Egg white. And we have some powdered sugar. First thing we need to do for this recipe, it's done in two different parts. We're gonna do the egg yolk part and then we'll do the egg white part, and I'll explain why we'll be doing it as such. So we'll grab a bowl first and we'll be putting the egg yolks, and I won't even explain to you just how difficult it was for me to separate the egg yolk from the egg white. There has to be a faster way to do it. Anyways, it took me 35 minutes to do it for these 4 eggs. Now we're gonna put in the egg yolk. We're gonna put in the baking powder. Then we'll put in the sugar. Half of the baking powder is still on the counter, but it is what it is. Then we will put the cornstarch. And then we'll put the yogurt. Personally, I don't use Greek yogurt for this recipe. I've done it a few times. I haven't used Greek yogurt. It came out perfectly fine. I think you're supposed to use Greek yogurt, but this yogurt was on special for $2.69 for 650 grams. And this recipe calls for 400 grams. Therefore, that's what we bought. The Greek yogurt of 550 grams, 100 grams less, was $3 more. Now we'll leave this to the side. Next, what we'll do is we'll mix this before moving on to the rest. Now we'll move on to the second part, which is the egg whites. And now we'll be using the mixer machine for the egg whites. And this is a trick that I was taught a few years ago, is that when you mix egg whites, they end up whipping a bit. I decided to leave that to this machine rather than the handheld mixer. Just a lot of mixing going on here. Put the egg whites. We'll put a pinch of salt, whatever that means. But I usually just do that and I call it a day. And then a pinch of vanilla. Even though it's liquid, we still say a pinch because apparently you can get the powdered vanilla. I've never seen that in person, but it's a thing. Now we'll raise that and we'll get this whipping. Now I took it off of the machine because I just want to show you what it looks like when it's nice and fluffed up. So you see it's a little bit fluffy. That's how your egg whites should look. And if not, just increase the speed of whatever mixer you're using. Try not to do it by hand because you'll end up getting some sort of tennis elbow or something. Ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know. I hate that expression. It's ask me how I know. I don't know, I just wanted to. All right, so we're gonna put this back. Now for this next part, we're gonna be mixing this and we'll add this to that. So we'll add the egg yolk part to the egg white part. Powdered sugar still remains untouched because we'll be using this later to dress. What we're gonna do here, we'll just take this out right here and we'll put this on the side, is we'll add a little bit at a time. So we'll add a little bit and then we'll get it mixing. The reason why we added a little bit at a time is because if you add too much of the egg yolk yogurt mix straight into the egg white mix, what happens is it's just gonna stay together and it's gonna be clumpy. Therefore, you have to add a little bit at a time. And I know this because unfortunately, I learned this the hard way. Now it should look something like this. Remember, this is gluten-free, there's no flour, and that's why it's gonna seem very liquidy. But I promise when you cook it, I've made this many times, it's gonna be fine. Now we have our 8-inch round, and I have a conveniently cut circular piece of parchment paper. I mean, that's about as circular as it's gonna get. And the sides, what I did was that I took a napkin and I put oil on the napkin and then I just touched the sides just to make sure it doesn't stick. Now I will show you the top secret baking of T-Shirt Cooking. I'll show you a very secret method. Don't tell anybody about this, or if you do tell them, you got it from here, and send them the link, tell them sub, everything, you know, comment, engage, all that. You might have noticed that there's water boiling here and you're about to find out why. Because let's turn this off, because the trick to having a moist cake is the following. We're going to take a pan. What we're going to do is we will put this like that, and I'll show you. And you could do this too if you're baking cheesecake. If you decide to bake a cheesecake and not use the efficient, effective, and delicious route of following my video instructions on my recent cheesecake video that I made a few months back, and decide to bake a cheesecake, you can use this trick as well. But this is the t-shirt cooking trick. Now we're gonna pour this cake in here, the whole thing, because we paid real money. Oh, a bit of clumping there. Oh well, that's not gonna get fixed. It is what it is. And now what we'll do with the boiling water, pour a little bit like this on the tray. This might seem strange, but I promise you this does work. Just enough to cover a light film on the tray. And this will be baking for 50 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. So it'll be a while. The water might not exist when you pull it out. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Trust me, the cake should be fine. And this might all be for nothing because in an hour from now, who knows, the cake might not be good, but we're still gonna make the video of it. Made this cake many times offline and it's always been fine. Something goes bad, it's because of the camera. Anyway, let's just throw it in the oven. We are now back. It's about 75 minutes later. I let it cool off for about 25 minutes after taking it out after 50 minutes. As you could see, all the water is gone. The edges look horrible, but that's just a mix of cheap pan, me not brushing the oil correctly, and maybe I should have used parchment paper, etc., etc. Now we're going to be putting the icing sugar on top. Some people put cocoa powder, some people put icing sugar. I'm gonna put icing sugar. Now I wanna try something different. Usually I just go like this on top, but everybody says you're supposed to sift it through a sifter. Now I have this here. I guess we're gonna try it and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So we'll do this for the first time ever on the T-shirt cooking YouTube channel, and we're going to sift powdered sugar. I'm not sure what the pros and cons are of this. I mean, the cons are I'm losing a lot of powdered sugar. Pros are, wait, what am I supposed to do here? Like this maybe? Oh, I see. Okay. You really do learn every day. It looks like snow. It also looks like, never mind, I'm not gonna say what else it looks like. Allegedly, of course, I don't know anything about that. But it does look like other more expensive party favors. I'll do a taste test, so I'll try to cut a little piece. All right, let's cut a piece. And let's do it like that. It came out a bit spongier than usual. I don't know why. I've made this a bunch of times, and this time it just seems that things are weird. All right, there you go. We have a little piece. Because we have the powdered sugar, let's put more powdered sugar. Just in case if it doesn't taste good, at least there's a lot of sugar. I just finished my first bite, and as you could see here, the inside does seem a bit eggy, but keep in mind this is supposed to be a flourless cake, and there is no flour in it. That's why it is like that. You could put a little bit of flour in it, but then I assume that will not make it gluten-free, or I don't know if any of these other ingredients have gluten. I don't know much about glutenism and any of that. I do know that it's a real scientific illness, or I don't want to use that word, but it is a scientifically proven thing, the whole glutenism thing. I don't know if there's a word for that. There's probably a real medical term for it. Unlike other restrictions that people decide to put on themselves, like veganism or fat phobiaism, or any of these other false parameters that people set on others to try and drag them down to the same level as them. I know that for a fact that glutenism is real. So maybe this could provide a bit of a substitute recipe. Try this recipe at home. It's really easy. What takes the most time is prepping all the ingredients and doing all the dishes. That's what takes the most time. Apart from that, the cake in itself, it's really not hard to make, and there's good flavor. Customize it with chocolate, lemon, do whatever you want to do. I just showed you the base. You do whatever you want. From there, you could even put, you know, some whipped cream on top, however you want. You know, make it work for you. Remember, sub, comment, like. I've been posting new videos every Monday. I don't know for how much longer I'll be doing this. This is an insane streak that we've been doing. Unfortunately, I'm still only getting about 30 to 40 views a day on all of my videos combined, so it is a little bit discouraging. It is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. We'll stop this video right now, and I'll see you guys next time.